ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है आज के
We welcome all of you to today's Bhagavad Gita class.
पिछले प्रवचन में हमने गीता के तीसरे श्लोक का अध्ययन किया था, तृतीय अध्याय के, जिसमें भगवान ने कहा था कि मयि
So Bhagavan had told,
मयि सन्न्यस्य कर्माणि सन्न्यस्य अध्यात्म चेतसा निराशीर निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वर। अतः तुम अपने समस्त कर्मों को मुझ में अर्पण करके अपने मन को आत्मा में स्थिर करके फल की इच्छा से रहित होकर स्वामित्व की समस्त धारणाओं से मुक्त होकर तथा समस्त मानसिक संतापों को त्याग कर युद्ध में लग जाओ। तो यहाँ भगवान एक
so here
जीवन जीने का हमको एक सूत्र बताया है,
Bhagavan has taught the art of living,
जीवन में जीना चाहिए,
how we should live,
कि हम अपने कर्म के बंधन में ना बंधें,
so that we do not become bound to karma,
इस संसार से मुक्ति प्राप्त करें।
and by doing karma we become liberated from this world. Because Arjuna's question was, that please tell me that one thing
श्रेयस की प्राप्ति
which will be supremely beneficial for me.
भगवान ने यहाँ स्पष्ट रूप से कहा कि
So
युद्धस्व
Bhagavan told
विगतज्वर
very clearly
अपनी आलस्य और निरुत्साह की अवस्था को त्याग कर
that
अपना
you should
कर्तव्य करना
give up
चाहिए।
your
तो ये उपदेश
laziness
मनुष्य
and
मात्र
lack of
की
enthusiasm
वो अगले श्लोक में
and fight.
बताएंगे।
So this is
यहाँ
applicable to
कहा
every
कि
human being, as he will
हमने
speak in the next
ये
verse.
है, लेकिन ये
Although he
सब
has given this instruction for Arjun,
जीवन में किस
but it
प्रकार
is
से
applicable to everyone,
कार्य
how
करना चाहिए,
we should work
क्योंकि प्रत्येक
in
व्यक्ति
our
की कुछ ना
life,
कुछ कामनाएं होती हैं।
because every person has some desires,
हमारी जो कामनाएं हैं, हमारी जो
and
वासनाएं हैं,
our
वो
desires
दो परिणाम हमको दे सकती हैं।
can give us two
उनके
results.
ऊपर हम अगर अमल करते हैं, यानी कि उनकी पूर्ति करने के लिए हम क्रिया करते हैं, तो
If
हम
we work to
उसमें
fulfill
झगड़ा पड़
those
सकते हैं, उससे
desires,
मुक्त भी हो सकते
we can be
हैं। और ये
bound
इस बात पर
or
निर्भर
we can
करता है
become
कि
liberated,
जो
and
कर्म
it
करते हैं
depends
अपनी वासना की पूर्ति
on
के लिए,
when we
वो
perform
किस
our
उद्देश्य
karma
से
to
करते हैं,
fulfill our
किस
desire,
प्रकार से करते हैं।
with what goal, with what bhav we do that karma.
अंतर जो है वो कर्म का नहीं
The
है,
difference lies not in
पीछे
the
जो
karma,
भावना है
but the
वही है।
intention, the bhav behind the karma.
भावना जो है वो दो प्रकार की है। एक तो ये है कि
And the
मैं
bhav and the intention can be of
भगवान से
two
स्वतंत्र
types.
हूँ,
One is one
और
bhav can be that I am independent from Bhagavan and I want to
दूसरा ये है
fulfill
कि
my
मैं
desire.
भगवान का अंश हूँ,
Other is
भगवान
I
का
am
मेरा स्वरूप
Angsha
है,
of Bhagavan
और जितनी भी
and my
उपकरण
body
सुविधाएं
and all the
संसार में प्राप्त
instruments
हैं, सब
available in this world all
इसलिए मैं
belong to
जो
him.
कार्य करना
That's
चाहता
why
हूँ
I
वो
am
भगवान को अर्पण
will
करूँ।
working for him or I perform the karma and offer it to
तो
him.
ये किया जा सकता है।
So
प्रायकृत
work can be done with these two
साधारण मनुष्य है वो
mentalities.
दृष्टि के अनुसार कार्य करता है,
An ordinary
इसलिए
person
वो कर्म के बंधन में
works
पड़
with
जाता है।
the generally with the previous, the first
कामना प्राप्त
mentality,
करते
and
हुए
that's why he
भाव
becomes
कैसे
bound
पैदा
to
होगा?
karma.
कामना का
Because
मतलब है कि मेरे अंदर कुछ
desire
कमी है,
means I
उसकी मुझे
have
पूर्ति करनी है,
something lacking in my
इसके
life
लिए मैं
which
कर्म
I want
करता
to
हूँ।
fulfill. That is why I
और
perform karma.
वास्तव में जितनी भी वस्तुएं बाहर
In
संसार
reality,
में उपलब्ध हैं,
all the objects which are
उसकी हमारी
available
कोई
in the
पूर्ति संभव
external
नहीं है।
world, they cannot fulfill
पूर्ति
us
उसी से हो सकती है जो उसका
because
सजातीय वस्तु है।
fulfillment is only possible
जैसे
with the
कि
sajatiya vastu. Like
स्वर्ण का घड़ा
suppose
है,
if you have
उसको
a
कोई
golden
दूसरी
necklace
पूर्ति
and
करने
if
के
some
लिए
part breaks,
स्वर्ण की आवश्यकता
then
पड़ेगी, ना
you
कि
will have to fill
सोने
it
की
with gold.
आवश्यकता
It's
पड़ेगी।
gold only, not with iron or plastic.
स्वयं जो है वो चेतन है,
So we ourselves are conscious beings.
इसलिए हमारी पूर्ति किसी भी
So
भौतिक पदार्थ से संभव नहीं है।
we cannot become fulfilled by anything
इसलिए
material.
जिस वस्तु को हम प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं वो हमें कभी
The
भी
object that we want to attain in this world that
संभव
can
नहीं
never
है।
fulfill us. It is never possible.
और ये सभी का अनुभव भी है अपने जीवन में, क्योंकि
And
हम
everyone has experienced this in
इस
life.
जीवन में और पुराने जीवन में सभी कुछ करके ही
In
हमें
this life and in the previous
पता है
lives,
कि
we have
कार्य
done
प्राप्त
so
करने
many
की
things
सोचते
and
हैं, फिर भी हमें अंदर
we
एक
have
कमी
understood
महसूस होती है।
that no matter what
अपने
we
को
try to
आत्मा
achieve in
महसूस
this world,
महसूस करते हैं।
we feel some lack of
और उसका कारण
fulfillment.
यही है कि कोई भी जड़ पदार्थ चेतन पदार्थ की पूर्ति नहीं कर सकता।
And the reason is that
चेतन
material
पदार्थ की
objects
पूर्ति
cannot
करने के लिए
fulfill
चेतन ही
conscious
कर
beings.
सकता है।
To fulfillment of conscious beings can be done by
हम
consciousness
हमेशा
only.
चेतन को छोड़कर जड़ के पीछे दौड़ लगा रहे हैं।
We always give up
पृथ्वी को छोड़कर चंद्रमा,
the conscious aspect and we are
सूर्य,
always running
सबको
after material
पीछे छोड़ देते हैं
objects.
और इनसे सोचते हैं कि हम
Everyone in the
चेतन
material world is
चेतन की
running
पूर्ति
after
करेंगे,
material objects and trying to
लेकिन ये
get
संभव
fulfillment
नहीं है,
from them.
क्योंकि साधारण तर्क
But that is not
बताते
possible.
हैं चेतन की पूर्ति चेतन से ही संभव है, और वो चेतन पदार्थ
Consciousness can be filled by consciousness
श्री
only.
कृष्ण है।
And that
जब
original
तक हम
consciousness is Bhagavan himself.
उनसे अपना संबंध नहीं जोड़ते हैं, तब तक हमें शांति प्राप्त हो नहीं
Until and
सकती।
unless we establish our relationship with him, we cannot become peaceful.
भोक्तारम यज्ञ तपसाम सर्वलोक महेश्वर, भगवान कहते हैं कि इस सब लोक का महेश्वर मैं
Bhagavan
हूँ।
says
इतिमाम
that
ज्ञात्वा शांति मृच्छति, इसको जानकर व्यक्ति शांति को प्राप्त होता है, इसको जानकर ही
by
शांति
knowing
मिलती है।
Bhagavan only, we can become peaceful.
और जब तक हम इसको नहीं जानते हैं, तब
Until and
तक
unless we
इसके
know
पीछे
this,
दौड़ते रहते हैं कि
we
इसको
always
जानकर
keep
इसको
running after material objects. objects, thinking that we will achieve peace
नहीं
through
दे
that.
सकती हैं, शांति
But
अवश्य देती हैं।
material objects cannot give peace, rather, they destroy the
रख
peace
रखाव करना,
because you have to maintain
उनसे
them,
पूर्ति नहीं होकर फिर
you have to
दूसरों को
manage them, and when
एक
they
चीज
don't work, then you need
दूसरे
something
चीज
else.
मन में आता है
One object gives rise
और
to
इसी
desire for
संसार में
another
अगर
object, and that keeps us bound
संसार में अगर चेतन
in
व्यक्ति
this
किसी से
world.
संबंध भी जोड़ते हैं तो वो
Even
केवल
if we make relation
उसको
with conscious
ईर्ष्यापूर्ण
beings,
होकर ही संबंध
that
जोड़ते हैं।
relation is also made due to
तो
attachment
यही
to the material
समस्या है
aspect.
मनुष्य जीवन की
So
और
this
इसका
is
समाधान भगवान ने पिछले श्लोक में
the
दिया था।
problem in our life, and Bhagwan had given the solution in the previous verse.
अध्यात्म चेतसा का मतलब ये है कि अपनी चेतस, अपनी बुद्धि,
Adhyatma
अपने
Chetasa
चारों
means
तरफ
that
अध्यात्म का
our
मतलब आत्मा,
buddhi, our chetana,
बुद्धि
we
अध्यात्म जो आत्मा से
we
संबंधित
use
है।
it
तो जब तक
in
हमारा
relation to Atma,
अवेयरनेस, हमारी
until and unless our awareness,
कॉन्शियसनेस,
our
हमारी
consciousness,
विचारधारा
our
इस
thinking,
आत्मा
our
की तरफ
mentality
नहीं
is not turned
बढ़ेगी,
towards the
तब
Atma,
तक हम यहाँ पर कष्ट
till
भोगेंगे।
then we will keep suffering here.
तो ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सूत्र
So
भगवान
this is
ने
very important
पिछले श्लोक
sutra
में
that
दिया था
Bhagavan taught in the
और
previous
क्योंकि
verse,
ये इतना महत्वपूर्ण है
and because it is
तो
so
इसको
important,
थोड़ा समझाने के लिए इसमें श्रद्धा
in order
उत्पन्न
to
करने के लिए
explain more
भगवान
and
थोड़ा
generate more shraddha in this
एक
concept, Bhagavan
सुझाव देते हैं कि
gives a
इसका बेनिफिट क्या
recommendation
होगा और ना करने
that
से।
what will be the benefit by doing this and what will be the loss by not
इसमें
doing this. This is called
जब
Anvaya
इच्छा उत्पन्न
Vyatirek.
होती है तो उसका फल बताना पड़ता है।
If you have to generate
तो
interest in
इसलिए
something,
उसको
you have to tell
तो जिसको
what will be
carrot
the
and stick
result by doing
बोलते
this.
हैं
So this is
कि
called
आप
carrot
इसको
and stick
करोगे तो ये
technique,
फल मिलेगा, नहीं करोगे
that
तो
if you do this, you get this result,
दुष्फल मिलेगा,
and if you don't do this,
आपको शांति
this will
मिलेगी,
be the
दुख
loss.
मिलेगा।
If you do this, you
तो
become
धर्म
peaceful.
जो
If you
है
don't do this,
इसी पर
you
आधारित है
lose your
कि
peace of mind.
जीवन
So the
सुखी हो।
entire dharma
क्योंकि
is
मनुष्य
based on
क्या
this
करता है,
basic
बुद्धि का
principle,
तर्क का प्रयोग नहीं करता है,
because generally human beings do not
दूसरे
use
से
their
आकर्षण के द्वारा
logical
करता है।
ability. They
इसलिए
just
इसको
work
बोलते
by
हैं कि
being
ये बेनिफिट
attracted
है, इससे आपको
to
लाभ
sense
होगा। तो इस तरह
objects.
से देते हैं कि आप
So that is why
अपनी
the
चेतना को
Shastra also
चेतन की तरफ बदलें।
attracts them
तो पिछले श्लोक में जो
in this
अध्यात्म
way
चेतसा की बात कही थी,
by telling
उसके
results
बारे
of
में अब वो कहते हैं कि
results if we do this.
इदम नित्यम अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो अनसूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते तेपि कर्मभिः। जो मनुष्य श्रद्धा युक्त
Translation:
और
those human
निष्ठा
beings
युक्त होते हैं,
who, being
जो
endowed with
ईर्ष्या
faith
द्वेष का निरंतर
and
पालन
devoid
करते
of
हैं,
envy,
वे भी निश्चय ही
constantly
कर्म से
abide this
मुक्त हो
teaching of
जाएंगे।
mine, they too are surely freed from
तो यहाँ
karma.
जो बात पिछले श्लोक में कही थी
So here,
उस पर
what he
थोड़ा
had
ध्यान देना
spoken
है
in the previous
और उसमें
verse,
रुचि पैदा
he is
करने के लिए इसको
emphasizing that
ध्यान देना
here
है। क्योंकि
in
पिछले
order
श्लोक
to
में तो
generate
केवल
interest
रिजल्ट
in that.
बताया कि इसको
In the
करने से क्या
previous
होगा,
verse, he had
और
not
बोल दिया कि यदि
explained the result. He just
इससे
said,
तुमको श्रेयस की
you
प्राप्ति
fight.
होगी या नहीं होगी।
Now, whether
तो
by fighting I
इसका
will
अगर
achieve
श्रेयस की
Shreyas
प्राप्ति
or
हो
no,
सकती है
that
तो
how can I be sure of
ठीक है
that?
कि दो
Because that was
तरह से
Arjuna's
श्रेयस की प्राप्ति
question,
होगी,
that please tell
लेकिन
me
किसी को
what
श्रद्धा
can give me
हो
Shreyas.
जाए तो
So it is
उसको
obvious that Bhagavan is telling that only which will give him
वो
Shreyas.
कहते हैं कि
But still, if somebody has doubt,
ये वही
Bhagavan
होगा।
is emphasizing on that point and repeating
तो ये बड़ी
that by following my
चीज
instruction,
है कि
you
आप
will
कर्म
become
करके
free
कर्म से
from
मुक्त हो जाए।
karma. So this
जैसे
is
कि एक कहावत
a
है कि
wonder
कर्म
that
करके ही
how
मिटता
by
है।
doing karma you can become free from karma.
जैसे
The this Hindi aphorism means that
एंटीडोट
iron cuts
विष को
iron.
निर्विष करने वो विष ही होता है,
Poison is the
विष
antidote
को विष
for
भी नहीं करता।
poison.
भागवत में नारद ऋषि कहते हैं कि आमे
In
शरीर
Bhagavad,
जायते ये न सूय,
Narad ji says
कि जिस चीज से बीमारी होती है उसी से रोग
that
भी पैदा होता है।
what
तो
leads to
जिस चीज
disease,
से
that only leads, that
संस्कार
only
उसके लिए अच्छा
cures the
होता है,
disease
ज्ञान
if
के
it
लिए
is
अशुभ रहता है।
consumed in the
तो
proper, in the
इसलिए कर्म
prescribed
जो है वो
manner.
रोग पैदा करता है
That is why
कि हम
karma leads to
संसारिक
disease,
बंधन में फंस
disease in
जाएं।
the sense of
लेकिन अगर
bondage,
इसी कर्म
suffering.
को हम
But that
संसार
same
संबंधी से
karma,
करें
if we do it
तो
in
वो
the
कर्म
proper way,
मोक्ष का
prescribed
कारण
way,
भी बनता है।
then it can become the cause
तो
of
इसीलिए वो यहाँ
moksha,
पर कहते हैं
liberation
कि इदम
also.
नित्यम
That's why Bhagavan is telling here.
अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानव। तो मानव शब्द का प्रयोग इन्होंने किया यहाँ पर।
Here Bhagavan has used the word manava. Manava,
यानी
those who are
कि हर एक व्यक्ति
uh,
मनुष्य मात्र के लिए
offspring of Manu. It means what Bhagavan is speaking is applicable for every human being. He is not speaking so for some particular jati, country, dharma, etc. Generally, dharma is seen from a.
अगर ये नहीं मानोगे तो हम तुम्हें मारेंगे, जो भी करेंगे। तो भगवान ऐसा नहीं बोलते हैं यहाँ
So
पे,
generally,
कहते हैं
human
सभी
beings
के
speak
लिए
like this that if you do this, I support you, otherwise not. Bhagavan is not speaking like that. Bhagavan is speaking for every human being.
तो इसलिए
We
मानव
follow or
अधिकार
not, that is up to us. If we do not follow, it is our loss.
आप
That's why Bhagavan is used the
वर्षों
word
तक
Manav.
ध्यान
It
करते
is
हैं
applicable for every
तो
human
वहाँ
being.
पर अलग अलग प्रकार से अधिकार है,
In Purva
अलग
Mimamsa,
अलग
different types of adhikaras are mentioned. There is different
एक
adhikar for
अधिकार है
Brahman,
बृहस्पति
Kshatriya.
सवयज्ञ, उसको केवल ब्राह्मण ही कर सकता है,
There is a
क्षत्रिय नहीं
yajna
कर
called
सकता।
Brihaspati Savayagya. It can be done only by
ब्रह्मचर्य
Brahmana.
यज्ञ
Then there is
उसको
Rajasuya
क्षत्रिय
Yajna.
कर सकता
It
है,
can be done only by Kshatriya, not by
इसी
Brahmana.
प्रकार वैश्य के लिए भी यज्ञ है,
Similarly, there are separate
निषादों के
yagyas
लिए
for Vaishyas,
अलग
for
अलग यज्ञ है।
Nishadas.
तो वहाँ सबका अधिकार अलग अलग है,
So different
लेकिन यहाँ
adhikaras are there
बोलने
for
वाला
different
स्वयं
yagyas.
भगवान है,
But here,
तो
the
सबसे
speaker
पहले
is Bhagavan
एक
himself.
सूत्र
So Bhagavan is
ये
giving
सभी के
the
लिए,
formula
इसमें
for every human
किसी
being.
प्रकार का
This what Bhagavan is speaking here is applicable to
भेद
everyone.
नहीं है।
There is no difference of adhikar or eligibility, who is eligible to follow this instruction or who is not. Nothing like that.
अनुतिष्ठन्ति का मतलब अनुष्ठान करें, इसका पालन
So
करें,
Bhagavan is saying
आचरण करें,
Anutishtanti, which means you should follow
अपने
this.
जीवन में उतारें।
You should apply this in your life.
लेकिन
You
वो
should abide by
आप
this.
सुबह शाम करें या हर एक संडे को करें, जैसे लोग चर्च में जाते हैं,
But it is not like what generally people do. Like some people follow something morning and evening, or people go to church on
ऐसे सदैव
Sunday.
ही करना है।
No, what Bhagavan is teaching here
जो
is
काम
applicable all the
करो
time.
उसको भगवान को अर्पण करो, उसमें
Every work that you
भगवान ने
do
बोला
should
सबसे
offer
पहले
to Bhagavan. That
यही
is what
अधिकार
Bhagavan
है,
taught in the
सब
previous verse.
किसी कर्म विशेष को नहीं
He
और
did not
किसी
speak
देश
about
विशेष
any
में ही नहीं,
particular karma or in any
इस स्थान
particular
जाएंगे तो
place,
वहाँ
that if we go
इस
to a
प्रकार का
pilgrimage,
व्यवहार करेंगे
then we
और
behave
यहाँ
like
रहेंगे तो
this,
दूसरे
and
प्रकार
if
का
we are in
व्यवहार करेंगे।
home, then we behave
किसी
in a
काल में
different
देश
way.
में नहीं,
So it is
सतयुग
not
का धर्म
for
अलग
any
है,
particular
द्वापर युग का
time
धर्म अलग
or
है,
place,
कलयुग
not
धर्म
particular
अलग है।
time that this dharma was for Satya Yug,
इसलिए
this for Dwapar Yug, not like
चाहे
that. Bhagavan is
किसी भी
using the word
युग में
Nitya.
है,
You may be in any
चाहे वो
yuga.
स्त्री हैं, चाहे पुरुष हैं,
You
चाहे
may be
महान
a
हैं,
woman
चाहे
or a
गरीब
man
हैं,
or Indian or
सभी के लिए,
foreigner, whatever you are.
सभी के लिए है और
This
सब में
instruction of
इसका
Bhagavan is
पालन करें
applicable for everyone
और
at
सबके
all,
लिए
in
है।
all places, at all times,
इसलिए कहा ये मेरा
and
नियम
it
है,
is to be applied in every
नित्यम
activity.
अनुतिष्ठन्ति माना। तो ये नित्यम शब्द जो है वो धातु
So
क्रिया के
this,
साथ में लगता है, क्रिया विशेषण नित्यम अनुतिष्ठन्ति। नित्यम को मतम के साथ में भी लगा सकते हैं, मैं मतम नित्यम, ये मेरा नित्य मत है।
so he is telling this is his
ऐसे नहीं है
Nitya
कि
Mat.
आपके लिए ही है, अभी है, बाद
This
में
is,
है,
it is
सबके
not
लिए है और सब काल में
for
है,
particular
कोई
person or
इसको
particular
विरोध नहीं कर
time.
सकता है।
It is for everyone at all time.
लेकिन इस पर वो दो शब्दों का प्रयोग करते हैं जो बहुत
But
महत्वपूर्ण
Bhagavan uses two words
और
here
समझने
which
के
are
लिए हैं।
very important and worth
वो दो
understanding.
शब्द हैं श्रद्धावंत
Those two words are
और अनसूयंत।
Shraddhavantah and Anasuyantah.
तो पहला तो यह है कि श्रद्धा युक्त होकर करें।
First of all, we should perform karma
तो
with Shraddha.
जब हम कोई भी क्रिया करते हैं
When we do any activity,
उसमें दो चीजें परिणाम को निर्देशित करती हैं या
then the result
परिणाम को
depends
निर्देशित
on
करती हैं।
two
एक तो हम
factors.
क्रिया को किस प्रकार से करते हैं,
One
कैसे
is
करते
how
हैं,
we perform the
क्यों करते
activity,
हैं,
whether we are doing it properly or in the wrong way.
और
That
दूसरा उस क्रिया के पीछे जो है वो
affects
भाव
the
क्या है।
action, that affects the result, and the other is what is the bhav, the mentality behind the action. That is also very
क्योंकि
important,
आप कोई भी
because
कार्य जो है
you can
एक
do the same activity
दृष्टि से कर सकते हैं और वही कार्य जो है आप काम भाव से कर
in
सकते
one
हैं,
way.
अपनी
You
इच्छा
can
पूर्ति के
do
लिए
the
कर
same
सकते हैं।
activity
कोई
to
कार्य
fulfill
आप
your own
पूरी
selfish desire.
दृष्टि से कर
You
सकते
can
हैं।
do that same activity by
तो इसलिए
offering to
श्रद्धावान
Bhagavan.
होना
That is why
और श्रद्धा
having
का मतलब
Shraddha in that,
शास्त्र जो उपदेश
and
देते हैं
Shraddha means
उस उपदेश में विश्वास होना,
to have faith in the
यानी
instructions of
शास्त्रों में
Shastra.
विश्वास। और इसका विश्वास का अर्थ होता है कि जिसका हमने अनुभव
And
नहीं किया
having
है
faith means what we
हम
have
उसको
not
मानते हैं।
experienced ourselves, but we accept it.
एक तो हमको अपना अनुभव होगा,
One is we ourselves have
तो
experienced.
अनुभव में तो श्रद्धा की कोई
So
आवश्यकता
there
नहीं
is no
है।
need of any Shraddha or any faith in
श्रद्धा
that
उसको कहते
because
हैं
we
जिसका हमने
ourselves have
अनुभव नहीं
experienced
किया
it.
है,
Shraddha
लेकिन
means what we have not experienced as of now, but we accept that yes, it is correct.
तो कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि नहीं हमें श्रद्धा करने की क्या
So
जरूरत
some
है,
people say, why
श्रद्धा
should
हम
we
अपने
have Shraddha?
निर्भर करते हैं। तो ऐसा
We depend on our own
नहीं है,
experience, but
किसी
it
ने भी
doesn't work like
श्रद्धा
that.
करके काम
Every
नहीं किया,
person, when he is working,
किसी
he is having Shraddha or
संस्था
faith
में
in
श्रद्धा
something.
करते
If you
हैं
are working in any
तो वहाँ भी
institution
आपको
or in
कुछ
any
श्रद्धा रहती है,
office,
कुछ तो
so there
विश्वास रहता ही
also
है।
you have
श्रद्धा
your
शब्द तो
faith.
शायद ठीक नहीं होगा वहाँ पर, क्योंकि श्रद्धा शब्द का अर्थ एक आदर पूर्वक विश्वास
Shraddha may
करना
not be the right word there
विश्वास
because Shraddha is
विश्वास
faith
होता
with
है,
respect.
फेथ,
One is just faith,
बिलीफ,
belief,
और एक होता है ट्रस्ट।
and one is trust.
तो श्रद्धा का सही अर्थ अगर
So,
अंग्रेजी में करना है तो ट्रस्ट होगा, क्योंकि
better
विश्वास
English
होता है
translation of the word
और
Shraddha is
आदर की
trust
भावना भी रहती
because
है।
Shraddha has implied
तो हम
respect
श्रद्धा
also.
करते हैं किसी पूजनीय वस्तु में,
We
पूजनीय क्रिया
keep
में,
Shraddha or trust
श्रद्धा
in some
करते हैं।
respectable object or
संत है,
person,
महापुरुष है, भगवान है, उनमें श्रद्धा रहती है,
some
उनके
great
ऊपर
devotee,
विश्वास
saint
रहती है।
in
और
Bhagavan.
विश्वास तो हम अनेक चीजों में कर लेते
But
हैं।
faith can be in many things.
तो ये श्रद्धा आवश्यक है,
So, Shraddha is essential.
और श्रद्धा के अनुसार फल मिलता है।
And result comes
जिसकी
according to Shraddha.
भी भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत तिन देखी तैसी। तो श्रद्धा के अनुसार हमको फल की प्राप्ति होती है। जैसे मैंने कहा कि क्रिया एक तो
Result
क्रिया
is according to Shraddha.
जो आप करते हैं वो
Action
कर्ता क्रिया
is
उससे
what you
फल आता है,
yourself
उसके
do,
पीछे जो
that gives
भाव
result,
रहता है, जो
and
श्रद्धा
other is the bhava behind that
भाव उसका यहाँ
action.
श्रद्धा से है कि आपका उसमें
Here,
कितना
bhava
आदर
refers
है,
to
विश्वास है,
Shraddha, how much
तो उससे
respect,
भी फल,
how much faith you have in
विशेष
that.
तौर से जो
So,
आध्यात्मिक क्रियाएं होती है
that
उसमें
also
श्रद्धा
decides
का
the
विशेष
result,
प्रभाव रहता है।
especially for in
भौतिक
case of
क्रियाओं में
spiritual
उतना
activities. Shraddha plays a very a major role.
नहीं, लेकिन जितने भी धार्मिक कृत्य हैं,
In
आध्यात्मिक
material
क्रियाएं
actions,
हैं,
it may not
उसमें
be so
श्रद्धा
necessary,
महत्वपूर्ण
but in spiritual
एक
activities,
अपना
Shraddha plays a
सहयोगी
major
प्रभाव है।
role in
इसलिए
determining the success of
गीता
that
में कहते
activity.
हैं
That's
अश्रद्धया
why in Gita, Bhagavan
शास्त्र
says,
कृतम चयत असत इति उच्यते पार्थ न च प्रत्य नोइह, कि जो भी आप अश्रद्धा से कार्य करते हैं,
that
यज्ञ करें,
whatever you
दान करें,
do
तप करें,
without Shraddha, with the dan,
तो
that is charity or
उससे
tapasya,
असत होता है,
austerity, Bhagavan calls that action
उसका
as
कोई
asat,
विशेष लाभ नहीं होता।
meaning it does not have any special result.
तो इस प्रकार से आप समझिए
So you have to
कि
understand it in this way
जैसे
that like
ये कैमरा है,
you have this, you can see this
कैमरा को आप
camera,
ऑन कर दो
if you switch it
तो ये
on,
रिकॉर्ड कर रहा है,
it will start recording.
लेकिन अगर इसमें मेमोरी चिप नहीं है
But if you do not insert the memory chip in
तो
that,
चल तो रहा है,
then camera is
और
functioning
आप देख भी सकते हैं
and
कि
you can see also on the screen that
दिखाई दे रहा है,
yes, it looks
लेकिन
as if
रिकॉर्ड
camera
कुछ
is
नहीं कर रहा है।
recording, but actually it is not recording
ये केवल
anything.
क्रिया मात्र होगी।
So it will just be an action.
तो इसी प्रकार जो
Similarly,
काम हम भावना से करते हैं
whatever we do
तो
with
उसमें
proper
एक
bhavana
अलग वृत्ति बनती
mentality,
है, और
it
अगर
creates a
भाव नहीं है तो
different
उसमें वृत्ति
vritti.
नहीं बनेगी।
And if you do not have that bhav, then
और
it
उसी
will
प्रकार
not give that
इसका
desired
इसी
vritti.
उदाहरण को आप कर्म योग में भी लगा सकते हैं
You
कि
can
जो
apply
आप
the
कर्म
same example
करते
in
हैं
Karma Yoga also that
और अगर उनको
whatever
भगवान को
actions you
अर्पण नहीं
do,
करते हैं
if you do not
तो
offer
एक
them to
वृत्ति बनती है,
Bhagavan,
उनका एक
then
संस्कार
it
बनता है जो
creates
आपको
a
बंधन में डाल
particular
देता है।
type of vritti or
और
sanskar,
अगर हम उनको
which
भगवान
leads
को
to
अर्पण कर
bondage.
देते हैं
But if you
तो
offer
उसी
those
समय तो
karmas to
आपने कर दिया,
Bhagavan,
लेकिन उसका
then
कोई
it
रिकॉर्ड
is
नहीं हुआ,
as if
वो वृत्ति नहीं बनाएगा,
you did the
वो
action, but it
तुम्हारे
did not
बंधन में नहीं
record
डालेगा।
anything, means it did not
तो
create any
इसलिए
vritti
मुच्यते
in
तेन
your chitta, which will
कर्म
lead to
से मुक्ति
bondage.
नहीं। तो कर्म से मुक्त कैसे, कर्म करोगे तो उसका कुछ ना कुछ तो फल
So, how
आएगा ही,
can you be
उससे तो मुक्त होगे,
liberated
लेकिन
from
अगर
karma? When you are doing karma, it will definitely give some result. But if you are just doing karma
उसमें आपको
and
फलासक्ति नहीं है
you do not have any attachment to the
तो
result,
वो ऐसा ही है कि जैसे आपका
then it
कैमरा
is
चल रहा है
like
लेकिन उसमें मेमोरी चिप नहीं,
switching on the
तो
camera
वो
without the
केवल
memory
क्रिया
chip.
होगी,
It is just activity,
कोई काम
action.
नहीं होगा।
but there will be no karma. It cannot be called karma,
बंधन में नहीं डालेंगे।
meaning it cannot lead to
तो
bondage.
ऐसे समझिए कि जैसे कोई कंपनी है
So you can take it like
और
suppose you have a company
कंपनी अपना
and
व्यापार कर रही है, कुछ
company is doing its
चीज़ें बनाती है
business. It
और
makes
बना के
some
उनको बेचती है।
manufacture some products and
मान लो
sells them in the
कोई
market.
फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपनी है तो कुछ
Let's
दवाइयाँ
say you
बनाती
have
है
some pharmaceutical
और
company
दवाइयाँ
which manufactures
बेचती है।
medicines and sells them
तो
in the
उस कंपनी
market,
का अकाउंटेंट है
and the company has an
जो
accountant
अकाउंट उसका लेखा जोखा रखता है कि
who
कितना
maintains the
सामान
accounts
खरीदा
of the
गया, कितनी
company, what was purchased,
बिक्री हुई, कितना
what
पैसा
was
आया,
sold,
कितना खर्च
how
हुआ।
much money was received, how much money was
तो
spent.
अगर कंपनी घाटे में जाती है तो ये
So if the
अकाउंटेंट को कोई फर्क नहीं
company
पड़ता,
is under loss,
वो तो
it
अपना
does
काम
not
करता
affect
है
the accountant.
और
The accountant
कंपनी
is
को
simply
बहुत
doing
ज़्यादा
his own
प्रॉफिट हो
job.
जाए
And
तो
even if the
अकाउंटेंट को कोई फर्क
company
नहीं पड़ता।
makes lot of profit, it does not
तो
affect the
कर्म
accountant.
योगी की तरह है
So he's like the karma
कि
yogi.
कंपनी जिस तरह से चल रही है चलते रहो अपना,
That whatever way company is
तो
functioning,
उसको
it
काम दिया
continues to
गया है, उसको
function.
ठीक से करना है।
Accountant is just busy in
हर
his
मंथ में उसका जो
assigned role.
वेतन है
So at the end
उसको
of the
आता
month,
है।
whatever salary
तो
is
कर्मयोगी इसी
due to
प्रकार
him,
से
he receives that. So karma yogi is
समझता
like
है
that.
क्योंकि उसको पता है कि ये जो
The karma yogi
पूरी फैक्ट्री
understands
है यहाँ से,
that this entire
इस फैक्ट्री
factory,
का जो मालिक है उसका है,
its owner is Bhagwan.
प्रकृति
It belongs to him.
यहाँ पर।
The prakriti belongs to
मैं
him.
एक कर्मी हूँ,
I am just a karmi
मेरा
here.
जो कर्तव्य है उसको मैं
I
करता
have
हूँ।
my assigned duty
तो
and I
कर्मयोगी
am
ऐसे
performing
सोचता है, वो
that.
सोचता है कि जितना भी संसार
So
है,
karma yogi
संसार का
thinks
जो
like that.
मालिक है
That this world,
महेश्वर,
in this world,
उसका
whoever
कर्तव्य
who is the owner,
और
the
मेरा जो
proprietor, that is Maheshwar, Bhagwan Shri
ये
Krishna.
शरीर प्राप्त हुआ है
And I have my own duty
और मैं भगवान के लिए
according
करता
to
हूँ,
the body that I have obtained, and I do it
तो
for
फिर उसमें वो
Bhagavan.
लिप्त नहीं होता है, वो चाहे घाटे में
So
जाए
then such a person
चाहे
does not
लाभ में
become
जाए।
bound to the karma,
उसको
whether
पता
he
है
is
कि सुखे दुखे
whether there is
समभावा
profit or loss.
लाभा लाभो जय जय ततो युद्धा युजस्व नैवम पापम वापससी। ये पहले भी कह के कहा है हूँ दूसरे अध्याय
So
में
like Bhagavan
कि
says,
सुख में
earlier
दुख में
also he
लाभ में
said
हानि में जय में
that
पराजय में
in Sukha, Dukha,
जैसे भी है आप अपना कर्तव्य
victory,
नियम कीजिए तो
loss,
उससे आपको कोई
whatever be the
नुकसान
situation,
नहीं
you
होगा।
continue doing your duty, your karma, then there will be
तो
no
ये
bondage
कर्म
for
करने
you.
की कला, कर्म करने का एक सूत्र
So
भगवान
this is Bhagavan is teaching this
गीता में
art of
भी
performing karma,
देते हैं।
and
उसको
repeatedly he is
ध्यान में
stressing
रखते
on
हुए
this point.
उसको
In the
करते जाना है।
he stressed on this
इसको
point in the
समझना
last chapter also.
कि
Here
इससे
also he is
श्रद्धा
doing
नहीं
that
बढ़ती है हमारी, इसलिए
because
श्रद्धा शब्द को
understanding
लाते
this
हैं।
is difficult. We do not get
और इसमें
Shraddha in
श्रद्धा
Bhagwan's
की यानी इसलिए
instruction.
उसका
That's why
तात्पर्य
Bhagavan is using the word
विश्वास
Shraddha.
है
And why we do not have Shraddha
उसको
is
करने कर्म
because
करने का।
we are accustomed to
हम जब
enjoying
भी
the
कुछ भी करते
fruits
हैं
of our
हमारी
karma.
दृष्टि उसके फल पर रहती है,
Whenever we do something, our
फल के लिए ही
attention,
करते
our
हैं।
awareness is on the result,
जितना मंदोपि
and we work for result
कोई
only.
भी व्यक्ति
No
बगैर
person
प्रयोजन के लिए
works
प्राप्त फल
without
प्राप्त ना करने के लिए
result.
तो काम करता ही नहीं।
Nobody
तो
works
इसलिए बात
without
थोड़ी सी
result.
समझ में नहीं आती है,
That's
कर्म
why
योग वाली
this
बात
is
जो है ना,
this karma yoga concept is very difficult to
कि
understand.
भाई कैसे करें हम, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है।
People
और
hear many
भगवान का
times
भजन
about
करने
this,
का
but then they
उत्साह,
wonder how is this
किसी को भजन
possible?
करने का
How
उत्साह
can
नहीं
I
होता
work
कि हमें
without
कैसे प्रेरणा
attachment?
आएगी, हम क्यों करें।
From where will I get inspiration, the
तो ऐसे ही
enthusiasm to work if I do
बाद
not
में
have
दिमाग में आता है
the attachment
कि
to the result?
क्या
So
है,
this
इसका इतना
thought
अभ्यास
pops up again and
नहीं
again in
है
the mind,
फल
and
पाने
that
का,
is because we have
इसलिए
become
हमारे
so
जीवन में आ सकता नहीं है।
accustomed to this style of working.
तो इसलिए यहाँ वो श्रद्धा शब्द को लाते हैं
That's that's
कि आप
why Bhagavan
इस
is
बात
using
को
the word Shraddha
समझ
here,
के मान लीजिए
that you should understand this and work
कि जैसे
accordingly.
एक प्रकार से हमको कह रहे हैं कि आप
It
मेरी
is
बात पर
as if
विश्वास करें,
Bhagavan is telling
आपको फल की
that
चिंता मत
have
कीजिए,
faith in what I am saying
हमें ढांढस
and don't
बंधाइए।
worry, you will get the result. Bhagavan is assuring us.
बहुत करुणा से
So, with
ये
lot of
बात कह रहे हैं
compassion, Bhagavan is speaking.
मनुष्य को इसमें लगाने के लिए, प्रवर्तित करने
He
के
is
लिए
engaging human being
करुणा से बोल रहे हैं। हालांकि लोग
in
इसमें
working in
गलती
this style.
निकालेंगे,
Although people will
जिनको
find
श्रद्धा
fault,
नहीं है, इसलिए अनुसूयंत कहा कि ये
those
बहुत
who do not
अभिमानशील
have
है,
Shraddha.
इनको
That's why
ढंग से
Bhagavan
बात
you
नहीं करनी
said Anusuyante,
नहीं
because
सर्वाणी कर्माणी।
people will think
ये
that
श्रद्धा
Bhagavan
शब्द
is
को
very
इसलिए इतने
egoistic. He is
अभिमान से
telling
लाते
that
हैं
offer everything to
कि
me,
हम काम कर रहे हैं तो आप कभी
work
काम
for
नहीं कर रहे
me.
हैं।
So people
इसलिए
think that when if I am working, why should I offer
श्रद्धा
to
से
my
जुड़े हुए
the work, the
सभी
result
लोग
of my work to you?
उनको
So
कोई
Bhagavan is not
कर्म करने का कोई
speaking
लाभ
with
होने
some
वाला नहीं है।
ego. Bhagavan is
वो
speaking out
ऐसा कोई
of
फैक्ट्री का
compassion.
मालिक नहीं है कि आप काम
He is
करो
not some
और
owner
वो
of
आपको दे
factory
दे।
that you stop working
वो
and his factory will
सर्वसमर्थ है,
stop. He himself
वो
is all capable.
काम है,
He is Apta Kam.
इसलिए
All his desires are already
हमारी भलाई के
fulfilled.
लिए दे रहे
He
हैं।
doesn't have to obtain anything.
और
So
जब हम
whatever
उसका
he is
यूज करेंगे
teaching
तभी
is
हमारी
for
श्रद्धा
our own
बढ़ेगी।
benefit. And
अगर
we
हम
will
उसको
get
कहेंगे
Shraddha
कि
only
इस
when we
फैक्ट्री में पैसे
understand
ज्यादा हैं
this
इसलिए आप फैक्ट्री में काम
concept.
करते हैं, और कोई दूसरा
If you
आदमी
work in a
जो आपसे
factory
ज्यादा
and
पैसे
another
कमाने में
person
जोर लगा
comes
रहा
and
है
tells you
तो
that
आप
come and
उसको
work with me, I will give you more payment, then people leave the existing job
तो
for a better pay.
ऐसा कोई लाभ
This is
आपसे
what happens
लेने वाला कोई
nowadays.
नहीं है।
So
तो
Bhagavan
आपका वो
has
काम बंद
no
कर देगा, वो
desire
काम नहीं
to
करेगा।
obtain anything
और वास्तव
from
में काम
you,
तो आपको करना ही
and
पड़ेगा,
his work will not stop. The creation will
क्योंकि
not
बगैर
stop
काम किए
if
आप
you
नहीं
do
जी
not work.
सकते हैं।
And anyway, you cannot live
तो
without
इसलिए
working. You have to anyway continue
हमारी
working.
इस सलाह को मानकर अगर हम
That
काम
is
करते
why
हैं तो उसमें
if we
हमारी ही
work
भलाई है।
by
और इस बात
accepting
में विश्वास
Bhagavan's
करके
recommendation, it is for our
निश्चिंत
own
होकर
benefit. And having faith, having trust in these statements
और फिर उस श्रद्धा में
is called Shraddha. And
अनेक जो
then
है वो स्तर होते हैं।
there are different grades of that Shraddha.
तो जितनी गाढ़ हमारी श्रद्धा होगी उतना ही
The
हमारा
deeper
फल
our
अच्छा होगा।
Shraddha, the better will be the result of the
क्योंकि
activity.
श्रद्धा जो है वो कुछ ऐसा नहीं है कि
Because
श्रद्धा है
Shraddha
या नहीं है।
is not in binary that it is there or not
ये
there.
कम हो सकती है,
It is not in yes or
ज़्यादा
no.
थोड़ा विश्वास है,
You can
ज़्यादा
have little
श्रद्धा है।
Shraddha mixed with little doubt.
तो इसलिए श्रद्धा की मात्रा जितनी होगी उसी के
So
अनुसार
according to the percentage of Shraddha you have, accordingly you will
लेकिन
achieve the result.
कार्य श्रद्धा युक्त होकर
But
करने से
the
बड़े ही
activity,
बंधन से निकल जाएंगे।
if it is done with Shraddha,
और
only
दूसरा
then
एक और
we will become freed from the
भगवान
bondage of
एक
karma.
शब्द का प्रयोग करते हैं यहाँ पे,
And
अनुसूया।
also Bhagavan uses another word,
असूया
Anasuyantaha.
बोलता है, बोलते हैं इसको
Asuya,
गुणेषु दोष आविष्करण, किसी दूसरे के गुणों में दोष ढूंढना,
Asuya
इसको
means
बोलते हैं
to find fault
असूया।
in others' good qualities. In Sanskrit, this
जेलसी।
is called Asuya. You can say jealousy.
और अनसूया का मतलब होता है
And
कि असहिष्णुता।
Anasuya means not to
तो
not to find
इसमें
fault in
पूछा
others'
जा
good
सकता है भाई
qualities.
श्रद्धा है तो
So the question may be
हम
raised
क्यों दोष
that if I
ढूंढें
have
किसी आरोप लगाएं।
Shraddha, why will I
इसका
find
औचित्य
fault
क्या है?
in what Bhagavan is telling?
जहाँ किसी व्यक्ति की
Why?
श्रद्धा होती है उसमें दोषारोपण थोड़े करता है।
Wherever a person has Shraddha, why will he
होना
find
जरूरी
fault
है।
in that? But the
और
fact is,
उसका
it does
कारण भी है,
happen.
जैसे मैंने कहा कि
And the
श्रद्धा ऐसी
reason
नहीं कि
is,
श्रद्धा जो है 100%
Shraddha
ही हो।
is not like you have
थोड़ी श्रद्धा
100%
भी रहती है
Shraddha. You may
तो भी
have little
श्रद्धा नहीं
Shraddha
है।
and you may have little Ashraddha also.
तो जब श्रद्धा कम रहती है तो थोड़ा उसमें
When
दोष भी
Shraddha, when
ढूंढते हैं,
Shraddha is less,
होता है ना,
then we also find fault.
दोषारोपण भी करते हैं। और ये दोषारोपण करने का हमारा जो एक, क्या कहें उसको, हमारी जो एक आदत है, हमारा जो स्वभाव है,
And we have this habit of finding faults, ascribing faults in others' good qualities, and we have,
स्वभाव ही हो जाता
and
है
this
कि
habit is very deep rooted.
ना करना।
Even if we get Shraddha, it is very difficult not
इसलिए
to
इसको
find
कई बार
faults in others' good qualities. That is why Bhagavan speaks about
अर्जुन को
this
9वें
many
अध्याय में कहते हैं
times.
कि मैं आपको बहुत
In the ninth chapter,
गुह्यतम बात बताता
when
हूँ।
Bhagavan
यहाँ पे
says,
अनुसूया
speaks
लिखा
to
है,
Arjun,
इदम तू ते
he
गुह्यतम
says,
प्रवक्ष्यामि अनुसूयवे, कि मैं आपको बहुत गुह्यतम, टॉप
Bhagavan
मोस्ट
tells
सीक्रेट
Arjun
बात
that I am
बताता हूँ,
telling you the topmost
क्योंकि
secret
आप
because
अनुसूय हैं,
you are free from envy.
यानी कि आप मेरे अंदर दोष दृष्टि नहीं रखते हैं।
You do
बाकी
not
किसी को
find
आप
fault
कुछ
in me.
सीक्रेट बात बताओ वो उसी में
If you
दोष
tell
ढूंढने
some
लगेगा,
secret to someone, he will
तो
start
आपकी
finding
उसमें
fault
श्रद्धा
in
नहीं
that,
है,
and then you
आपकी
will be
उसमें
in
बुराई
trouble.
लगने लगेगी।
He will start working
तो ये
against you.
दोनों जब एक साथ होते हैं, श्रद्धा है और
So
अनुसूया है,
when you have Shraddha
तो उससे
also
फिर
and you are free
फल
from
मिलता
envy,
है।
then you get the result immediately.
तो हमारे पुराणों में इसलिए इसी बात को समझाने के लिए
That is why in our
कहानी
Puranas,
है,
in order to explain
आपने
this
सुना ही
point,
होगा,
there is a
अत्रि ऋषि का
story. You must have heard the name of Atri Rishi
अनुसूया।
and his
अनुसूया
wife
मतलब
Anasuya.
किसी में दोष
Anusuya means one who does not find
अत्रि का
fault
मतलब
in
दो
anyone.
नहीं है,
Atri means one who is not three.
और अत्रि माने
Three
नहीं,
means three.
यानी कि जो सत्व रजस
And
तमस से
Atri
परे है,
means not three, meaning one who is
ऐसे
beyond
व्यक्ति की
Sattva,
पत्नी
Rajas and Tamas.
अनुसूया,
Such a person's
उसको
wife,
उसकी शक्ति,
Anusuya.
उसकी विचारधारा,
Wife means his
उसकी कला,
energy, his
उसी को
mentality,
रूपक दे के, उसी
his
को रूप दे के समझाया
work
जाता है
style of working. So
कि
that
ये
concept
जो
is explained through
भाव हैं
a
ये तो
story,
केवल इसको
because
रूप तो मानना नहीं है,
mentalities do not have
इसको
form.
समझना
Bhava
है,
does not have a form.
कि थोड़ा
So in
जीवन
order
में
to explain that, you
उसको
need to
समझ
have
करके
a
उसको देखकर
person,
उससे फिर
and
कुछ ले
we you
सके।
narrate his story and
तो
learn the
अनुसूया के
bhava
बारे
through
में
that story.
ये प्रसिद्धि तो
So
है
regarding
कि वो
Anusuya, it
तपस्विनी
was
है,
famous. She was known
तपस्विनी है,
for being devoted to her
किसी के
husband
लिए कोई दोष
and
नहीं
being
है,
very austere and not having any fault finding
तो इसको
mentality.
पता कैसे चलेगा कि भाई वो वास्तव में ऐसी है या नहीं है? तो नारद जी
So how will you understand whether she is actually like this or
बड़े
no?
भक्त
So Narad
ऋषि थे,
ji, great devotee of Bhagavan and a great
नारद जी
rishi,
गए तो वो
and
गए,
who always worked for welfare of
लक्ष्मी जी
people,
के पास गए
he went
और
first of all
उसको बोला
to
कि
Lakshmi ji,
अनुसुईया देखो बहुत बड़ी
and
है, उसकी
he
खूब
told her
प्रशंसा की।
that, see, this
तो उसने
Anusuya,
सोचा हमसे बड़ी
she
तो
is
और
very
कोई नहीं है,
devoted to her
ये
husband.
तो जगत
So
प्रसिद्ध
he
है,
glorified Anusuya in front of Lakshmi, and Lakshmi thought, how can
बहुत
she be
भाग्य
better
है।
than me?
फिर
I
उसके
am
बाद
famous
फिर
for being
सरस्वती
devoted to
जी
my
गई,
husband across
तो
in the whole universe.
उन्होंने
So Narad ji went to
पार्वती जी को
Saraswati and
समझाया,
told the same thing. He went
तो
to
फिर
Parvati
उन्होंने
ji and told the same
समझाई
thing. So Saraswati, Lakshmi,
कि
and
बाद में आके
Parvati, they
हमको
they
हमारे पति तो
met
जगत के
together,
महान देवता मानते
and
हैं,
they started wondering that what is going on. We
और
three are
इतने
known
प्रसिद्ध हैं, सब
everywhere
लोग इनको
for
अपने
being
पति हैं
devoted to
समझते
our
हैं,
husbands, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh.
तो
Now suddenly, from
ये
where is
परीक्षित
this
कीजिए कि
Anusuya
नारद
coming?
जी जो कह रहे हैं
So
वास्तव में ठीक
we
हैं या
should
ऐसे ही
test her and find
इधर
out
उधर ये
if
घूमते हैं।
Narad ji, what
तो
he
उन्होंने
is
अपने पतियों को
speaking is
बुला लिया
actually
और
true,
उनको
or he
परेशान
is
किया।
exaggerating.
तो
He's
फिर ब्रह्मा
has
जी,
just made up
भगवान
something.
शिव और भगवान विष्णु तीनों अनसुईया के घर गए,
So Brahma, Vishnu,
उन्होंने
Mahesh, they were
ब्राह्मणों को
assigned this
निमंत्रण
task.
किया
They to test her. They went
भिक्षा
to
मांगने
her
के लिए।
home. They
तो उन्होंने
went in the garb of Brahmans.
आवाज लगाई
They asked for bhiksha.
भिक्षाम देही, कि हमें भिक्षा दीजिए।
Please give
तो
us
अनुसुईया जी
alms.
बाहर आई
So Anusuya
और
ji
उन्होंने
came
कहा कि
out,
माता जी हम भिक्षा
and
ऐसे नहीं लेते,
he and they told her
हमारे यहाँ
that we
नियम
do
है।
not take bhiksha just like
तो
this.
उनका क्या
We
नियम है
have a rule.
कि हमारे
She
नियम
asked
से
them,
कि
what
अगर
is
आपको
the
हमें
rule?
भिक्षा देनी है
So
तो
they
आपको
said
नग्न अवस्था में
that
आना पड़ेगा,
if you have to
तभी
give
आपको
us
भिक्षा मिल सकती
bhiksha,
है।
you have to come naked, and in that naked
तो
state, you have
अनुसुईया
to
ने
give
कहा
us
अच्छा,
bhiksha. So
तो
Anusuya
अगर
thought,
उनके अंदर
okay.
दोषारोपण करने की दृष्टि होती तो उनको गाली देना
So
चालू कर
if she
देती
would have had fault
कि ये
finding
भिक्षा मांगने
mentality,
आए
she
हैं,
would have started
ऊपर से हमसे
criticizing
खड़े
them
होकर
that
भिक्षा
you
मांग रहे हैं,
have
क्या
come here to
कैसे बात
ask
करते
for
हैं?
bhiksha, and you are asking me to come
तो
naked
बोलने के
to give
वास्ते
bhiksha.
कुछ
What type of
था नहीं,
Brahman are you?
ऐसा तो
And
कोई भी
it would have
कोई
been
भी जाए और
justified.
उनसे कहे तुम नंगा हो
Who
जाओ,
is that person who will go to
तो वो
somebody's home and tell the woman that you
लेकिन
come naked and give me bhiksha? But
अनुसुईया ने कभी
even after all this,
उनको गुस्सा नहीं
Anusuya
किया,
did not
विवेचन नहीं किया,
became angry. She did
उन्होंने अपने
not
पति के ऊपर
speak
ध्यान दिया
any
और अपनी
critical words to
पतिव्रता के
them.
बल से
She
उन्होंने
meditated on her
तीन कन्या
husband,
दी।
and by her austerity,
तो
she
तीनों के
converted
तीनों
all the
बच्चे
three
हुए
into infants.
शिशु रूप में।
They all the three,
तो
Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they became
ऐसे
infants.
थोड़ा चल के
So
दिखाएंगे,
she gave them
उनको
bhiksha.
अंदर ले आई
So they are three infants. So where will they walk? So she brought them
और वो
inside the
संभालने
home.
संभालने में लगी हुई
She
है।
fed them. The three were lying in
अगले
the
दिन
cradle,
उनकी तीनों पत्नियां
and here
देखती हैं
their
अनुसुईया को
wives
कैसे
were
भिक्षा दे
waiting.
रही है,
Let's
तो
see
उनके तो
what
पति नहीं
Anusuya
लौट रहे हैं,
does.
वो तो वहीं रह
So
गए।
their husbands were not returning because
उन्होंने
they
कहा
were
जाओ हमें
converted
भिक्षा क्या
into
देना है, यहीं
infants.
रहो हमारे बच्चों
So
को पालो,
Anusuya said, what bhiksha shall I give?
हमारा
You
सेवा
stay
करो।
here. I will feed my
तो
breast
जब वो
milk to
पहुंचे
you.
तो उन्होंने फिर नारद को कहा कि
So
जाओ
when
तुम
they did
वैकुंठ
not
चले जाओ।
return to Vaikuntha, so then
समाचार पहुंचा दो
Narad
कि
was
महाराज
asked to find out what is going
आपके
on.
बच्चे वहां
So
बैठे
Narad
हैं,
saw
हमारे यहाँ
that
से
three infants were lying in the
भिक्षा नहीं
cradle.
चाहते हैं,
They were
खुशी से।
kicking. They were just playing
तो उन्होंने जाके उनको
in the
इशारा
cradle.
किया
They were
कि देखो
enjoying
वहां
there.
लेटे हुए हैं,
So Naradji told
तो
Saraswati, Lakshmi,
नारद
and
जी ने
Parvati, they are lying there as infants. They are not interested. They are not bothered about
उनको
you.
बोला
So all the three they came
हमें क्षमा कर
and
दो।
they begged forgiveness from Anusuya.
तो बाद में वो चले गए, तो इससे
Then
ये
the
पता
Brahma,
चलता है
Vishnu, Mahesh returned
उनके
back.
अंदर दोष दृष्टि नहीं थी,
So the point of the story is that
कि
Anusuya was free from
धारण किया
any
दत्तात्रेय
fault finding mentality.
भगवान के अवतार हैं दत्तात्रेय, भागवत में भी उनकी
So
कथा आती है।
then all the three
तो अत्रि अनसुईया के ही पुत्र
they appeared in the combined form as Dattatreya.
अलर्क को उपदेश दिया, प्रहलाद को उपदेश दिया।
So
तो
Atri
इसलिए यहाँ पे
instructed Alarka, Prahlad.
अनुसूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते
So here it is said,
क्योंकि ये निंदा करने की, दूसरों में दोषारोपण करने की बहुत एक प्रकट इच्छा मनुष्य के हृदय में रहती है। प्राय करके जब भी
so
लोग
human beings have this deep-rooted desire of criticizing others, finding faults in them.
करेंगे, दूसरों की निंदा करेंगे, और निंदा करने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ
In every situation, human beings try to glorify themselves and criticize others. They may find any reason, any excuse to glorify themselves
यहाँ भगवान कहते हैं
and criticize others. That's why Bhagavan is telling here we should not be like this. And especially in the
बड़ा बाधक
bhakti path, this is a
पहले ही कहा है कि
great obstacle.
सराणाम
That's why in Bhagavatam it is told in the beginning only, Nirmat Saranam Satam,
निर्मत
that
सत होने चाहिए,
who is qualified for Uttama Bhakti, one
हीन होने
who is free from envy.
अंदर दोषारोपण की दृष्टि नहीं होती है।
They should not have
तो लोग तो भगवान के अंदर भी दोष
fault finding mentality.
और दूसरों की तो
So
बात ही क्या है, उसमें भी
people find faults in Bhagavan also. What to speak of other human beings?
भगवान
Many people say that Bhagavan is very egoistic. He's a very proud person.
लड़ा रहे हैं,
See how he is,
बोलते हैं।
how he is incite. He is provoking Arjun to fight.
ये जो श्रद्धा है ये अति आवश्यक है।
So this Shraddha is very essential.
श्रद्धावान
In the 4th chapter, Bhagavan says
संहितेन्द्रिय है ज्ञानम लब्ध्वा पराम शांति मचिरेण अधिगच्छति, कि जो श्रद्धावान होता है वही
that one who is Shraddhavan, one who has Shraddha, only he achieves knowledge.
है वो अभिमानी नहीं होता है,
One who really has knowledge, he is not proud. And one who is proud, he cannot achieve knowledge.
क्योंकि ज्ञान को ऐसे समझ लिए कि जैसे वो एक प्रकार से वृष्टि है, ज्ञान की वृष्टि
Gyan, you can consider it like a rain.
रहता है, ऐसे ज्ञान
Just like water comes from top to bottom, similarly, knowledge also flows from top to bottom.
वो तो झुकता नहीं है,
And the proud person, he does not bend. He stands tall, straight like a mountain. So he cannot get knowledge. Shraddha means Shraddha gives rise to humility.
ज्ञान प्राप्त करता है तो फिर वो
And humble person achieves knowledge. And when he gets knowledge, he becomes more humble.
लेकिन एक और बड़ी मजेदार चीज है, वो ये
But
है
there is one more interesting point,
श्रद्धा का भी
that
अभिमान करते हैं।
some people, they are even proud of their Shraddha.
श्रद्धा तो वास्तव में निरभिमानी व्यक्ति को पसंद करती है,
Shraddha actually likes humble person, and proud person does not have Shraddha. But it can be seen that many people who enter the spiritual path,
वो भी एक उनके अभिमान का पोषण होता है। हमारा जो अभिमान है ये अनेक प्रकार से पोषक तत्व ग्रहण करता है।
our pride gets nutrition in many places. Pride can be nourished even by humility. Some people speak, always say that I am very humble. So in this way, people nourish their pride with Shraddha also.
गुरु से, ऐसे आचार्य
So they can connect themselves with some such religion or sampradaya or guru who is very famous, very highly established. They become members of such society, and then they speak proudly that I am a member of such a big institution. Who are you? I am the follower of such a famous guru. Who are you? So they do have Shraddha in that guru or institution, but that Shraddha is simply increasing their pride. Bhagavan is not speaking of that type of Shraddha, because whatever a person does, in something or the other, he will have Shraddha. those who do not accept Bhagavan, those who do not accept Shastra, they also have trust, trust in the concept that there is no Bhagavan. Till today, nobody has proved that there is no Bhagavan, and nobody can prove this that there is no Bhagavan. Those who say that there is no Bhagavan, this is also something in which they are simply trusting, they are keeping faith. What evidence do they have that there is no Bhagavan? Bhagavan did not create this world, there is no reincarnation. But it is also their faith only, and this faith is tamasic faith. So every person has some faith in something. Every person is made of Shraddha only. Whatever we do, whatever is our lifestyle, it functions on our faith only. We have some faith towards some concepts in life, and we work according to those concepts. So whatever we believe in, every we have not experienced everything that we keep faith in, but still we accept that, and we take decisions according to that faith, and we work accordingly. So people have that type of faith also, that there is no Bhagavan. So we have to be careful that we have faith in Shastra, but is it genuine faith, or is it our pride? If it is our pride, then it will become an obstacle on the spiritual path. So we have to work very carefully. So here Bhagavan has used a very strange word which is worth deliberating, that is api. Bhagavan says they too are surely freed from karma, means they also. So when api or also is used, it means there are some others who are freed from karma, and these people also are freed from karma. This is the meaning that is derived. You give, if I give a rasgulla to one person and I tell you give to him also, so also means you have given to somebody else and give to this person also. So then the question is, who is the other one who is getting freed? In Shastra, there no word is useless. Even the smallest of the words have lot of meaning. So here why is api used? Bhagavan is telling that those human beings who endowed with faith, devoid of envy, constantly abide by this teaching of mine, they too are surely freed from karma. So, who is the other one who is getting freed? That is worth deliberating. So, regarding this, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has deliberated in his own commentary. He says that if some person does not do the Anushthan, two things are told here. One is to do the Anushtana, and other is having Shraddha and being devoid of envy. Now, there may be somebody who has Shraddha, but due to some reason he is not doing the Anushthan. Actually, one who has Shraddha, he will do the Anushthan, but there may be some situation where you have Shraddha, but you cannot do the Anushtana. You cannot be engaged in the activity even though you have Shraddha. Say you are sick, or due to some social reason, you have Shraddha but you are not able to do the activity. So Bhagavan says such a person will also be freed from karma. So point is, as I said earlier, one is the activity and one is the bhav, the mentality behind the action. So action means that Anushthan, and bhava behind that is that I have Shraddha and I do not find any fault in this. So this Shraddha and being devoid of envy, this is more important than doing the action. As we know, in the bhakti path, we do puja, and let's say there is some item which is to be used in puja, but we do not have that item. So it is prescribed in Shastra that you can offer it in the mind. It is called Manasik Seva. So that also gives benefit. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is the whole story also of that Brahman who was doing Manasik Puja and he got darshan of Bhagavan. So point is that this point of Shraddha and being freed from envy, this is most important. It is so important that even if it is there and action is not being done, that Shraddha and lack of envy will itself free us from the karma. Although it appears very simple, just ordinary, but if you do Anushthan, if you are working but do not have Shraddha, then for that Bhagavan says that it is Asat. Bhagavan declares it as Asat. So, in order to show the importance of the Shraddha and lack of envy, Bhagavan is using the word Api, and we should focus on that point because this verse is very important. Bhagavan himself is telling that such a person will become freed from envy. In the previous verse, he just said that you offer that. Although there also he did use the word Adhyatma Chetasa, but here he is unfolding that word, he is unpacking it and explaining more clearly by using the word Shraddha and Anasuyanta. So if you have these two qualities of Shraddha and lack of envy, then you are definitely going to be successful. And this Shraddha should be Shastriya, it should be based on Shastra, not social Shraddha. Shraddha is of two types. You just heard something from people in society, some stories of devotees. You read the book Vraj ke Bhakt, Saints of Vraja, and you got some Shraddha. So earlier also we discussed that if there is some great devotee, he doesn't have knowledge of Shastra, he may be a devotee, but due to lack of knowledge of Shastra, he may end up doing something against Shastra also. That is why it is very important to learn Shastra. So here, Shraddha means according to Shastra, working according to Shastra after learning it. Now, it is not necessary that every person becomes a great Pandit of Shastra, but at least the foundational teachings must be learnt. If you have to walk on any path, you should have at the basic minimum knowledge, the foundational understanding of that path. Otherwise, we may end up doing something contrary, which is against that path.
तो क्रिया के फल दो प्रकार के होते हैं, एक दृष्ट
So
फल
action gives two types of results. One is drishta and one is adrishta.
वो है जो
One result is that which we understand, we can perceive.
पक गया, आप देख रहे हैं,
We cook the food, you can see the cooked food.
क्रिया का फल होता है जिसको आपको दिखाई नहीं,
But another result is what you cannot perceive.
तो अदृष्ट का फल जो है वो शास्त्र नहीं बता
So
सकता,
the second type of result can be
इसलिए उसमें
understood only through Shastra.
करने से फल होता है, ये दिखाई
So by offering karma, you get result. How?
वो शास्त्र ही
You do not see that result.
देता है उसके बारे में,
So Shastra tells about that result.
आपके चित्त की
You do japa, your
अनुभव आपको
chitta is getting purified.
दिखाई नहीं पड़ेगा ना,
You can perceive that, but not immediately.
तो इसलिए अदृष्ट जो
If
है वो
somebody tells, show me how your chitta got purified, how will you show that? So you need to have faith in the statements of Shastra. That is called Shraddha.
बल देकर यहाँ कह रहे हैं ये
So Bhagavan is emphasizing that point.
ऐसा भी बोल देते
He
कि
is telling that this is my
मैं मतम, जैसे अपनी छाती पर हाथ लगाकर बोल रहे हैं मैं मतम,
this is my matam, this is my teaching.
तो बहुत बलपूर्वक ऐसे बोल रहे हैं,
So
और
he
मत
is
शब्द का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं,
emphasizing on this point. And he is speaking about mat. He is using the word mat, not siddhanta. Somebody may say that somebody has other siddhanta, but Bhagavan says this is decisively my teaching. So if we have Shraddha in Bhagavan, we will accept his mat. If we do not have Shraddha in Bhagavan, we will accept somebody else's mat.
इस प्रकार से
So
कर रहे हैं कि जैसे वो भी एक
although Bhagavan is giving a siddhanta only, but he is using the word mata as if he is also an ordinary person, like somebody else who give their own opinions. So we'll stop here. If you have any doubt, you can ask question.
प्रश्नोत्तर सत्र को प्रारंभ करने से पूर्व
Then
मैं एक
important
घोषणा करना
announcement
चाहती हूँ
before
कि
beginning the
विद्यार्थियों
QA
अगर
session
आपकी ओर से यहाँ
that
अनुरोध है
this is
कि
a
अगले
request from the
छात्र को
translator
स्पष्ट
for all
रूप
students
से भगवत गीता
to
कक्षा
please
में सभी
ensure
प्रश्नों से
that the
सहमत हैं
questions which are
कृपया
asked
अपना
in
प्रश्न
Bhagavad
छोटे
Gita
और
class
संक्षिप्त लिखकर
benefit
भेजें
everyone. Before
कृपया
asking question,
स्पष्ट
please keep in mind the
स्पष्ट रूप से
following
बोलें और
points.
सभी को
Please
समझना
ask in a
आसान हो
systematic,
कृपया अपना
coherent manner
प्रश्न
so that others can
संक्षिप्त और
understand.
संबंधित ही रखें
Please ask
यदि आप
briefly
हिंदी में
and keep
नहीं
it to the
आसान है
point.
तो कृपया
If you are
अंग्रेजी
very
में सादा
uncomfortable
प्रश्न
in
पूछें
speaking in Hindi,
और यदि आप
better speak in
असहमत हैं तो
English
प्रश्न
only.
पहले से ही लिख
And
कर
if
और
required,
फिर
if you
पूछें
feel
इसे
benefit
अनुवादक को
better,
संक्षेप
then
से
please
अनुवाद करने में
write
सहायता
in
मिलेगी
advance.
हमारी
This
कक्षा
will
के
help the
अनुवादक
translator to translate your
सभी
question
आपसे अनुरोध
properly,
करते हैं
and we appreciate your cooperation in maintaining the sessions properly.
कैलाश जी कौन पूछ रहा है? आप पूछ रहे हैं? पूछो बोलिए।
स्पष्ट स्पष्ट करने के लिए थोड़ा सा है कि जो वृत्ति की
Question.
बात आई थी
So
वृत्ति
this is to get more clarity. You spoke about vritti.
तो
You said that vritti gets
राग
formed.
द्वेष होने से बनती है
So is vritti created due to raga and dvesh? Answer yes.
ठीक है धन्यवाद
प्रणाम बाबा जी यहाँ
Next question.
आपने वे भी का स्टेटमेंट यूज किया ना वहाँ तो जो आदमी ये पालन करता है वो भी उनको भी फल मिल जाएगा बोला जनरली ये थोड़ा इलॉजिकल नहीं बन रहा थोड़ा सा मुझे समझना चाहता हूँ इस श्लोक को पहले हम कभी अगर मैं टीचर हूँ
So this seems illogical to me. If I tell a student that work hard,
अच्छे बच्चे
write
तो मार्क्स मिलेगा
properly in the
जो
exam, you
छोटे
will
छोटे
get good
लिखेगा
marks.
उनको भी मैं थोड़ा सा
Now
क्योंकि
one
अटेंडेंस
who
ज्यादा है तो
who
मार्क्स दे देता हूँ
doesn't write properly in the
तो
exam,
यहाँ
I give, let's say I give him
मेहनत करने
also
वालों को
some marks to
पहले
him
अंक
also.
में रखता हूँ तो जो अटेंडेंस देने वालों को सेकंड अंक में रखता हूँ तो मेरा
So one
परसेप्शन
who
भी गलत
works
हो
hard, I
सकता है
keep him first. One who is just giving
तो यहाँ पे
attendance, I keep him second.
आप उल्टा
So
बोल रहे हैं मतलब जो करने वाला भी हो जाता है
समझ गया
सो वो थोड़ा सा
इसको आप ऐसे इसके दो वाक्य बनाइए क्योंकि दो लाइन है ना श्लोक की। ये प्रश्न समझ आया? थोड़ा टेक्निकल प्रश्न है।
did you understand the question? It's a
कहने का
technical
मतलब ये
question.
है कि
His
जैसे
question is
कोई व्यक्ति है कि वो बहुत मेहनत
that
करता है
suppose some person
तो पास हो
works
जाएगा
very hard, he will anyway
लेकिन जो
pass.
ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं
But
करता
one who doesn't work very hard,
बहुत
but
रुचि दिखाता है
he shows lot
वो
of
पास हो
interest,
जाएगा।
so
तो जो
say he will also
ऊपरी
pass
वाला होता है वो पहले
also.
वाले से थोड़ा निम्न स्तर का होता है
So the point is
लेकिन यहाँ
the
पे
word
जो
also which is
श्रद्धा
used,
या जो
it
अनुसूया
is
है वो
for the
थोड़ा
person who is of the lower
इससे
grade.
इससे
But and
ज़्यादा
when Bhagavan is using the word also for the person who
व्याख्या
is
में कहा कि
having
जैसा
Shraddha, lack of envy, and also working, so how can he be of lower grade?
प्रश्न है ना। तो यहाँ इस श्लोक को ये प्रश्न आपका बहुत सराहनीय है।
So it's a very good question.
सूक्ष्म इसको बोलते हैं सूक्ष्म इच्छा
It's a very deep
सूक्ष्म दृष्टि से देखना।
to
तो इस श्लोक को
very
आप
fine
दो
question.
विभाग में बांटिए।
So you
एक है
divide
ये
this
जो
verse in two parts.
इदम नित्यम अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवा जो मेरे इस मत को नित्य अनुष्ठान करते हैं ते मुच्यन्ति
So one is those who accept my teaching,
और फिर
they
कहा
will be liberated.
श्रद्धावंतो
And
अनुसूयन्ते
another
ते
is
विमुच्यन्ते।
those who have Shraddha and
कैसे
lack
देखना है
envy, they will also be
वो प्रश्न
liberated.
आएगा ही जो आपने पूछा है कि ये कैसे
Otherwise, that question will arise
पहले
what you
अनुष्ठान की बात
said.
करते हैं
So
कि ये
first
जो
he
है
speaks of the
एक
Anushtan.
अनुष्ठान एक श्रद्धा एक अनुसूया तो पहले
So
अनुष्ठान
first
के
is
साथ में वर्ब को
with
जोड़
Anushtan.
दो
So
अनुष्ठित
first you apply it with Anushtan that they will be liberated.
आवश्यकता नहीं है क्योंकि
There you
श्रद्धा या
need not apply
भक्ति के
api.
लिए तो दो चाहिए ना तो पहले वो
Because for
वाले
api
जो
you need
अनुष्ठान
two.
करते हैं
So
और
first is
दूसरे
those who do the Anushtan. And
बाद में
second
जो
is you
श्रद्धावान
remove the
होते हैं वो
Anushtan
ते भी मुच्यन्ते
and bring
ऐसे
Shraddha
सोचो
and lack of envy. They will also be liberated. So you can think like that.
धीर ललित जी कृपया अपना प्रश्न पूछें
Radhe Babaji, thank you for a wonderful class. I just got two questions, one regarding the Shraddha and obviously one with regards to having this jealousy bhav or fault finding. So in terms of Shraddha, we are, in general, we understand in theory that Shraddha comes from a person who has Shraddha in it. But quite often than not, we're living in families where maybe the one spouse has Shraddha in it, or of all the children, maybe one may have it, or none of them may have it, and yet one person in the family has the Shraddha. So is there anything practical we can do to make it quicker for them to get it? And if not, then how do we deal with it while still trying to come in this direction? And the other one is in terms of this jealousy, Anusuya. I'm trying to relate this to a little bit of Vivek. Sometimes when we're teaching or sometimes when we're trying to understand, we understand that we should follow sadhus that are in the same line or coming from the same parivar or have the same bhav. So in order to do that, sometimes you have to look at the differences or, the faults or something like that. So will we become guilty of it in that sense also? So maybe you can just elaborate on that, please.
तो उनका पहला प्रश्न श्रद्धा के बारे में है कि
First question is about Shraddha, that it is seen in a family. Some have Shraddha, some do not have Shraddha. So how to deal with that? So mainly the question is, from where does Shraddha come?
जो आविर्भाव है वो
So Shraddha appears only by association.
होगा संग, वैसा होगा रंग.
According to the association, you get the vritti.
सत्संग करने से ही श्रद्धा आती है.
So Shraddha is possible only by satsang, by
इसका और कोई
learning Shastra.
रास्ता नहीं है और कोई मार्ग.
There is no other way
जिसकी
to get
जितनी
Shraddha.
श्रद्धा है आप देख लीजिए.
Wherever one has Shraddha, whether it is material
लौकिक श्रद्धा है.
or transcendental, all types of Shraddha appear by association only. Some people may carry forwarding their Shraddha from the previous life.
तो अपने संस्कारों से पैदा होते हैं और उसको
So they are born with their
तो उसके संस्कार उद्दीप्त हो
samskaras, and little bit of association can
स्थायी भाव और फिर उद्दीपन में
activate that old samskara,
पकड़ लेता है उसको.
like we study in the Rasa Shastra.
इस प्रकार के संस्कार नहीं
So
है.
some people may catch it very quickly. One who does not have Shraddha from previous life may take a long time to get it. But it will happen if he continues to associate with sadhu.
ये है कि अगर हम कोई भी मार्ग
Second is, if we are walking on any path,
एक लौकिक उदाहरण अगर लाएं कि मेरे
let's say a
दिल्ली जाना है.
material example, suppose I have to go to Delhi.
रास्ते हैं.
So there are many paths for going to Delhi.
मैं एक रास्ता
So
पकड़ता हूँ.
I choose one path.
मैं सोचता हूँ कि ये रास्ता मेरे लिए सुलभ है.
I think that this path is easier for me. I have Shraddha in that.
ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक रहे.
And for the other one, I think that there is lot of traffic, you have to pay tax.
गलती निकाल रहा हूँ.
It does not mean that I am finding fault in that path.
अपने मार्ग में श्रद्धा हर एक व्यक्ति की होनी ही चाहिए.
Everyone should have Shraddha in his or her own path. And he does have, otherwise how will he continue? And every person continues thinks that his path is the best, and he should think like that, and he will definitely see some faults in the other path. So understanding those faults is one thing, and seeing them as inferior to you
जिसको कहते हैं उत्तमता सिद्ध करो.
and just trying to establish your superiority to make them feel inferior, that is wrong.
बुद्धि भेद मत करो.
That's what Bhagavan told earlier also. Don't do buddhi bheda.
जानने का
What you can do is that if the other person is
हमारे मार्ग
enthusiastic to hear, then you can tell that these are the
तो वहाँ हमारा
better,
भाव जो है वो
these are the superior points in our path, which are not present in the other one. So that is not to criticize, that is just to help the person who is interested in hearing. But if one is not interested in your path, he is continuing on his or her own path, then you should not disturb that person.
श्रद्धा एक तो जल्दी से
That is wrong.
होते नहीं है.
It is wrong because one's Shraddha cannot be disturbed so easily. But if it gets disturbed, then he may start wavering. He will neither be here nor there.
स्वयं कुछ शंका नहीं है, संशय नहीं है, तो उसको फिर आप ऐसा मत बताइए.
So if somebody does not have any doubt in his path, he is not interested in hearing about yours, there is no need to tell anything to him.
बता रहे कि हमें दूसरों को नीचा दिखाना है.
Otherwise it will become jealousy.
वो jealousy नहीं है. वो असूया नहीं है।
And if we do not want to criticize or belittle others' paths, that is not jealousy.
मार्ग को, किसी ग्रंथ को, उसकी
But if you have to understand something,
ग्रंथ को जानना कि
you
इसमें
try to understand how one path is superior and other path is inferior. That is a fact that you are simply trying to learn the truth.
लंबा नहीं है तो इसको
If a person is tall and the other one is short, so understanding that this person is taller, that is not envy. But if you say that because you are shorter, I become envious of you, I make fun of you, that is envy, that is asuya. So that is wrong.
बाबा जी एक प्रश्न और है कि मत और
Next
सिद्धांत
question.
की बात आपने करी थी।
You spoke about mata and siddhanta.
हम देखते हैं कि भगवत गीता के भी बहुत सारे संस्करण हैं, सबके मत
We see that there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita, different authors give their different opinions. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also,
का ये सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति गले सर्वकर्म कृत है। तो शब्दे विश्वास मतलब शास्त्र सिद्धांत वो है जो कि शास्त्र के अनुसार है और सबको
so in Chaitanya Charitamrita when it is said Shraddha Shabde Vishwas, what does Shabde mean there? Is it Shastra?
बोलने के बाद और
And in this verse Bhagavan is speaking about mata.
और विश्वास के साथ मेरे को ये बात को मेरे को मानता है। तो मेन जो बात है कि श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास जो है, शब्द यानी वेदों का जो सिद्धांत है वो ही इम्पोर्टेंट है ना।
इम्पोर्टेंट तो सिद्धांत ही है, उसमें क्या है?
The answer important is Siddhanta.
इम्पोर्टेंट तो वही है जो सिद्धांत है।
What is Siddhanta? That is important.
लेकिन यहाँ मैंने कहा कि मत शब्द का प्रयोग वो सिद्धांत के अर्थ में ही
But
कर
what I said is Bhagavan is using the word mat in the sense of Siddhanta, but he is presenting as if it is just his opinion to show that I am an ordinary person. This is my opinion. Others may have their own opinion. So I am not
आपने मेरे से प्रश्न
objecting to others' opinion. But because you asked me, so I am giving my opinion.
भगवान है तो उनका मत सिद्धांत ही है और क्या है?
But since he is Bhagavan, his opinion is Siddhanta only. Who can have a better opinion than Bhagavan himself?
प्रश्न है नवदीप जी का, यदि हमें
Next
पिछले जन्मों
question.
की स्मृति नहीं है,
If we have no recollection of past lives as we do in this one, how can they help us realize that material positions can never truly satisfy us and that we should pursue spiritual life? If this were true, why don't we see the majority of humanity striving for genuine spirituality? Instead, we often see the opposite.
हम इसका विपरीत देखते हैं।
पहले क्या बोला उन्होंने? यदि पूर्व जन्म का क्या?
अगर पहले यदि हमें पिछले जन्मों की स्मृति नहीं है तो हम यह कैसे समझें कि भौतिक संपत्ति हमें कभी भी संतुष्टि प्रदान नहीं कर सकती
तो
है।
उसमें पूर्व जन्म की क्या आवश्यकता है?
What is the connection with Purva Janma, previous life here? That is also an experience only.
भूल गए हैं तो क्या
So even if you forget the experience of previous life, don't you have experience in this life? Why do you have to rely only on the experience of previous lives?
क्यों विचार नहीं करते हैं?
Why don't you deliberate on your experience in this life itself, which is there in your memory?
जो आपकी स्मृति में
Think about that.
उसकी चिंता क्यों?
What is not in your memory? Why do you bother about that?
तो लोग आध्यात्मिक मार्ग में इसलिए नहीं आते कि इसके ऊपर वो विचार ही
People do
नहीं
not come to the spiritual path because they do not deliberate on their experiences in this life.
तो आप
Because they do not deliberate,
किसी निश्चय पर पहुंचेंगे।
how will they come to this path? Whatever is going on, they'll just continue like that.
उनका दूसरा प्रश्न है,
Next
क्या
question
स्वयं का प्रतिकार
is discussing others' bad behavior to counter and protect oneself considered ninda. In the corporate world, this is common, as many try to outsmart and undermine others.
करनी है आपको।
So answer, why do you have to discuss about others' bad behavior? What is your objective?
है कि आप उनको नीचा दिखाना चाहते हैं और
If the objective is to show how that person is inferior and you feel yourself superior,
केवल आप
this is criticism, ninda only. And if you feel and you understand this, why do you have to anyway discuss about that? If you already understood that bad behavior, what is there to discuss about that?
वो देखना पड़ेगा ना आपका भाव
You have to check what is the objective behind discussing that.
दिव्या निताई जी का प्रश्न है,
Next question.
श्रद्धा अनुभव में कब और कैसे बदलती है?
When does Shraddha convert to experience? Answer: by working on that, following the instruction in which you have Shraddha.
उसमें जो साधन है उस साधन के ऊपर अमल करने से उसका
If you have Shraddha in something, there is some sadhana prescribed for that, and if you do that sadhana, you get the experience. Like in Bhakti, it is said, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, that if you do Nam Sankirtan, Nam Japa, your chitta gets purified. So we have to follow that, and then we get experience.
Okay, next question. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So you talked about what is written in the Bhagavad-Gita, that we should not be attached on the results of our activities. So that's what I understand from my mind, but practically I'm very much struggling. So I can tell you I'm from Germany, and I have a company with my father together, and we are creating heating systems in private houses. So we have to work properly and give a good quality, because our aim is to give good heating systems for people, that they don't have to care for the heating system much again, and that they can do other things in life, caring for other part of lives. So I'm struggling because I'm kind like managing, or I'm managing that there is enough material on the building place, that the time schedule is okay, that enough workers are on the building places. I have to organize this stuff, but sometimes I feel that I have to be attached to the result, because otherwise I couldn't work seriously. So, but then it comes, I'm too much involved, and then there is only stress when I'm too much detached. So what would be your advice?
Too much detached? You are in stress when you are too much detached or too much attached?
Too much attached, right?
Attached. So, इनका प्रश्न ये है कि सार प्रश्न का
Question is the essence of the. So asking question is also an art. The essence of the question is that whatever we do without attachment, how do we work? But attachment also gives stress. So there is a subtle difference in this. As I told earlier also, that people do not understand this. When you work with enthusiasm to get good result. But when you get the result, then do not remain attached to that. You got it, you got it. What happens is that you get the result according to your desire. You become very happy. You do a party. You go and drink beer. And if it is not according to your wish, then you get into depression. And then also you go and drink beer. So actually what should happen is that you work very hard, you get the result. Now if it is according to your wish or not according to your wish, you remain as you are. This is called detachment. When there is attachment, you will celebrate the victory and you will be depressed at the loss. But when you will be detached, then your mind will be peaceful irrespective of the result. This is where we make mistake. One is that we think that if I am not attached to the result, why should I work? That is because we think that attachment and result are the same thing. They are not same, they are different. We have to learn to differentiate between result and attachment. Like I gave example, if somebody is an accountant in a company, then the company may have profit or loss. That does not affect the accountant, but he works properly. Similarly, if you have in company for electricity or whatever, you work properly to get good result. But if you do not get the good result, you do not lose your enthusiasm. You just understand that I did my best. I did not get the desired result, but I do not have to be depressed, but I should check where I made mistake, and if there is any deficiency, how do I fulfill that. It is difficult to think like this, but if you practice, it is possible. And once you become used to this style of thinking, you will not be at stress and you will rather work much better. When we are attached to result, then we become stressed, and due to stress our efficiency of work reduces. When you are detached, your efficiency of working will increase. So you have to practice that. Because we are used to the previous style of working with attachment. You must have seen there are professional athletes and there are amateur athletes. There is a professional tennis player, there is an amateur tennis player. Actually, amateur means he does not play for money. Professional plays for money. But nowadays the amateur also have become professionals. Play means, sport means you derive enjoyment out of the sport. But nowadays people become stressed after playing. After playing they go and drink beer. So what kind of playing is this? Why are they stressed? Because they have become attached. So you should just play for playing, whether you win or lose. But you are playing just for winning. And if you do not win, you become stressed. You play, you give your best ability in playing, but do not worry about the victory or defeat. It is easier said than done because we are not used to this, because we play for winning only. So this is the problem.
Babaji, you said that humbleness leads to knowledge and that knowledge leads to more humbleness. So we might have two persons reading Bhagavad-Gita, and in one of them, this knowledge might lead to humbleness and the other one it doesn't. So can you describe the quality that turns knowledge into humbleness in the listener?
जो अगर आप
Answer.
विहित तरीके से अध्ययन करेंगे,
If you study Shastra in the prescribed manner, you will become humble. But if you do not study in the prescribed manner, you will not become humble. You will become proud of your knowledge because you have made mistake from the beginning only. So Shastra prescribes how to study Shastra. Everything can be done in a right and a wrong way. So studying means, first of all, you study under a guru. You have respect for guru, and then you study. But when you study independently, why will you become humble? There is no reason for you to become humble. But when you study under guru, and when you have respect, Shraddha, that I know that he knows more than me, and because of his mercy I am getting knowledge, then we will become humble. But if you study books independently, why will you become humble? I worked hard, I got knowledge, and then I will become proud of my knowledge. This is what happens.
प्रार्थना श्लोक। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थ वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये। भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्।